Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I just want to give you a little disclaimer here. It's been really cold this last few days, actually even this last few weeks. January and February in Canada gets really cold, and so when you put your horses outside for their daily turnout, it happens more often than enough that they just don't get enough calories burned during the day. They don't really get active when it's really cold. They just kind of stand and stay still and just eat their hay. So that doesn't allow for a lot of exercise, and as we know, horses do need to be exercised fairly regularly in order to avoid injury, as well as to keep their cardio and all of that. And as most of you guys know, we've been on a training program for the past almost 4 months, almost half a year actually, that we've been in consistent training. So I just wanted to give a good disclaimer. It is gonna get pretty intense in this session here, and that's the reason why I'm doing this video. So the second thing that I want to mention is that my horse is not mistreated in any way. That is just something that happened. Usually in the heart of winter, horses do get, either a little full of energy, or they just really need an outlet. So as you can see here, that's just her expressing her excitement, her joy, whatever stress she's having. That's just her putting it out there. So you'll see a lot of bucking, a lot of rearing, all kinds of stuff with Hazel, and that is just her normal state. So in this video, I'm also going to explain to you how I handle a horse that's hot, which is exactly what you just seen: bucking, kicking, and all that stuff. So first things first, you always have to look at the food that you're actually giving your horse. So you want to make sure that it is balanced, it doesn't have too much calories for the exercise level that you're doing. In our case, it is pretty balanced. It has been checked already by a nutritionist, as well as by our vet, and everything is good. So you want to make sure that you just feed the right amount of calories and not in excess. The second thing is that the breed will also affect a bit their mental state and how much exercise they will need, how much you will have to basically push them in order to be able to work with them. So in our case here, we have an off-the-track thoroughbred that's 8 years old, been off the track for 4 years. I've owned her for those 4 years off the track, and I can tell you, thoroughbreds are very energetic. It's a breed that's already very hot-blooded, so you really have to stay with them. If you want to have a thoroughbred, you just have to be ready to be active with them, because they're not like pasture pets. They need to be exercised, and if not, you're gonna just have something really dangerous on your hands, and it's not really recommended. So as you can see here, Hazel's just having a little bit of a meltdown here, and it's totally fine. That's exactly the reason why I put it on this lunge line to begin with. So what I do here in the winter, especially when I feel like my horse is handsy a little bit, I literally feel like her tension when I'm riding her. I know what good and calm and collected and with you kind of means, and I also know when something is in the back of her mind and she needs to get that energy out. When they can't focus as good, when they they literally feel like nervous as you're riding them. So you know that already it's coming up to a point where you will need to get that energy release. So in our case here, I could feel her energy or tension building for the last 2 weeks, slowly. Over my lessons, I just noticed that she wasn't, as fully attentive as she is usually, and that usually indicates that she really needs to let it out. So this is happening on a Saturday, which is usually the day where I do all the grooming and all the upkeeping and all of that. So I just decided, like, let's just see and figure out how much energy she has before I even try to ride it, because it gets to a point that if you don't handle it properly, it could be really, really dangerous. You're just gonna put yourself at risk for, you know, a kind of bad behavior or for an accident to happen. So the first thing you do is you just, honestly, I just put her on the lunge line and I just ask her to go forward. I'm not dictating the gait she has to take, other than when I want her to slow down. But everything else she picks up on her own. That's just her own expression of her, you know, anxiety, stress, energy, all of her emotions are that's just on her own. So I'm just putting her right on the lunge line, making sure I have a safe distance with her, and I'm just literally asking her to go forward. And that's how I address her energy level, is I just let her tell me when she's actually ready to be worked. So the way I assess that is I basically put her on the lunge line, let her have her meltdown or tantrum or bucking, rearing, whatever she wants to do. Obviously, you really want to have to, you know, a safe distance with your horse. You don't want to be like super right next to them. You really have to have at least a good 2 to 3 meters in order to have them to just, you know, be safe. And so I just let her just run. So she will pick up the trot at my command, and then she will decide whenever she goes to canter, gallop, and all of that stuff. So that's on her own, and I'm not pushing her forward. I'm not also restraining her backwards. I'm literally just letting her do that, because that's what she needs to do to be balanced in her, like, in her head or in her mind. So I just let her have the emotion roller coaster that she's having. And just supervising, making sure that, you know, she is obviously fully protected. She's got, you know, boots on, bell boots. She's safe. And also, when I notice that she is not balancing herself properly, that's when you'll see me like raise my hand or doing some motions with the lunge line, just to kind of help her balance herself a little bit, so just to avoid an injury. So that's something that I'll do. You'll see me sometimes shake the lead line. That's usually my sign to her that she has to slow down a little bit. And usually it works, but sometimes she gets a little riled up and she kind of ignores a little bit of my command, but which is not like a big deal. That's exactly, like I said, the reason why I put her on the lunge line in the first place, is just to make sure that she is safe for me when I'm ready to ride. This one here where she's just walking, then just having a nice trot, long and low, and she seemed pretty relaxed, right? Until she picks up a canter, then a gallop, and then, as you can see, a little bit of a tantrum, which is, like I said, really fine. You really want to do this, especially to assess if your horse is in the right mindset in order for you to work them that day. So that's something I really recommend to do at all times, especially if your horse has been, like, you know, stabled for a couple days for an injury. If your horse has been restrained for some reason, either the weather or their physical condition and turnout. So you really want to just assess where they're at in their head, if they need anything. If they need to let all that energy go. So in her case, I usually just let her work herself that much when I know that she hasn't had enough turnout, or I know that she's not you know, using a maximum of her energy. Unfortunately, myself, I cannot ride her like very often. I ride her twice a week, and I also have somebody that helps me and ride her once a week. So she gets 3 rides a week. She is a very already spicy thoroughbred. She could be ridden every single day and it wouldn't even change anything, just because she is already pretty spicy, as she's just her natural state. So if she could be worked consistently at least 4 days a week, it would help to diminish that level of energy that she has. But since I physically cannot do it, or I can't actually just go to the barn every day, that's what we have to put up with once in a while, and then just get her to empty all that energy out. So the way you handle a very hot horse, or what we consider as hot, as very spicy, very energetic, is first you have to be patient. You have to be calm. You have to be quiet, and you also have to let them be and just watch, make sure everything is safe, and just let them express that, because that's the best way they can just express it without hurting themselves. You know, if I were to just leave her loose there in the arena, well, there's a lot of chances that she might make wrong decisions on her own, and then you don't have control over where she's gonna go, what she's gonna do, and things like that. So that's why I put her on the lunge line, is because I have a bit of control. I don't have all the control, but at least I have a bit. And then when I see that she's not balanced, she's not doing the proper things, at least I can direct her. I can push her in a corner, I can bring her here and there. So it really helps to at least manage that. But yeah, you really have to be patient. You really have to be quiet. Like, don't get yourself frazzled. Don't get yourself too excited, because you're gonna influence their mood as well. So you really want to just stay calm, let them do their thing, watch, make sure everything it's good, and just let them have their moment with themselves to kind of figure things out, figure their emotion, figure their mental state. And then they usually she comes right to me when she's done her tantrum. She's doing exactly that. Like, she's stopping, she looks at me, she's like, hey, I'm done. So then I know that she is, you know, in a better mental state. So what I always do after that is I just give her a little bit of a test. And the way I do that is I just put her back on the lunge, push her forward again. I just ask her walk, then the trot, then the canter. And when I see that everything is balanced, the way she would do it for me under saddle, then I know that she's going to be safe to be ridden. Another thing that Hazel's really good at is usually when she does a lot of long and low, I know that's just her normal state when she's very calm and quiet and she doesn't really care about what's going on. That's just her good or best mental state. So I can recognize this, and I can just when I see that happening, I know that's gonna have a nice productive ride out of it, just because I know her brain is gonna be way more receptive to anything I'm gonna be able to teach her. So this is this test that as I was telling you. So as you can see here, her canter is actually making sense. Like, it's not too forward. It's like pretty paced. It's pretty good. So I just call it a day for the lunging for today. This whole lunging session is in real time. I just edited a few parts where I'm actually fixing up the tack, because it does tend to slide back. But other than that, it was pretty much 15 to 20 minutes long. And after, I was able to ride her for another 15 to 20 minutes, just to kind of keep her going, teach her something new, or at least, you know, work on things that we had to work on a little bit, and then just call it a day. So that's how I handle my horse when she is pretty hot-headed, or when I feel like she has a lot of energy. That's the best way I find, honestly, to have control over your horse, and to have them mentally and emotionally stable enough for you to ride them. And as you'll be able to see in this short clip here of our beginning of her ride, you'll see that she is totally relaxed, and she is actually way more productive that way. So one of the things that we had to work on that week was actually the canter, and then going all around the arena at a canter. And then you'll see how nice and collected she actually is in her canter, and she's also way more balanced. And that is priceless. Honestly, if you can spend 15 minutes on the lunge line and it gives you that good of a workout afterwards, I mean, why not, right? Why not spend the time to do it, to stay safe, and also have the best ride you have had in a long time. So that really helps. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys have learned a little bit of how I manage my horse, or how to manage your horse in these difficult times here with the COVID restriction, as well as with the weather. So I hope that you guys at least enjoyed this a little bit, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.